It was a flight that my next guest will never forget. Allison Pataki was 22 weeks pregnant and on her way to Hawaii with her husband Dave for a baby moon. But things took a turn when Dave looked at her, asking if there was something wrong with his eye. At that moment, she watched her husband lose consciousness at 35,000 feet in the air. He had suffered a stroke at just 30 years old. It has been 3 long years of recovery since, but today he is alive and well and writing an op-ed on FoxNews.com. Quote, "The most important thing I can do every day is to choose how best to live." Joining me now is Allison Pataki, who chronicles their journey in the new book, Beauty in the Broken Places, a memoir of love, faith, and resilience. Allie, welcome. It's great to have you here. Allie was a producer here at Fox News on one of my shows years ago, and I have followed her career as an author ever since she left. This is not a book that you ever intended to write, Allie. Tell me.
Certainly not, and certainly not something we ever intended to live through either. And, you know, I was a writer. I wrote 4 fiction books, and this became something that, as I just turned to writing as a way to deal and process on my own and to sort of explain to my family what we had been through and to write letters to Dave, who couldn't make new memories, it became this much larger writing project and became something bigger.
I mean, he had a highly unusual, catastrophic event that happened in his brain. He was studying to be a surgeon. He was a resident. He had a big understanding of medical history and all of this. But so tell me about, you know, one of the interesting things I read in the reviews of your book is that you are brutally honest about how depressed you became. You had an infant daughter and a husband who needed you to take care of him.
Yeah, and when Dave woke up, his brain was less functional than that of a newborn. You know, what are the first things newborns do? They breathe, they cry, they drink. He could do none of that. So we basically had to go through the process of Dave completely regrowing a brain and becoming a functional individual human again, while we were also going through that same process with our baby.
How did you do that?
The writing saved me. It actually did. And he couldn't make new memories. So every night when he would go to bed at, say, 7 p.m., you know, because he was so fatigued, I would write to him in the form of the Dave I had once known. And I thought, if Dave ever comes back to me, I can tell him what he went through and what we went through together. And I just sort of tried to keep this image alive of the man he was, and so that we could fight together for him to come back into that version of himself.
It's amazing, and your writing is crystal clear, as it always has been in all of your fiction work. And I think that's what makes a memoir like this so riveting, because you are so honest with what you were angry.
Yeah, and one of the first things that a fellow brain injury caregiver said to me in the first few days is, she said, "Welcome to the club of the bad thing. And I'm sorry, it's a club you never wanted entry into, but you know what? At some point or another, every person joins this. And I'm sorry you and Dave joined it this way at this age." But that's really what I've learned through this process and through writing and through now speaking with readers, is that our story is unique in the circumstances, but that it's a very universal thing.
Yeah. You know, in terms of what's happening now, you know, he's writing this op-ed and you're having another baby.
We are. And quite frankly, in the very beginning, I thought, when I didn't know if Dave would survive, I thought, well, at least we will have this one child together and a piece of him will continue. I never, in our wildest hopes and dreams, thought that we would be able to have add to our family. So it's really, you know, as Dave said in his op-ed, we feel like we got a second chance. And the life we were planning on got completely derailed, but we are embracing the beauty in Plan B.
Good for you, because life throws curveballs.
Yeah.
And no one ever wants them to happen, but you've dealt with it with grace, and you said faith played a large part.
Absolutely.
How?
I realized in the darkest, lowest moments that, you know, I could say I had faith, I could say God is good when everything was going well, and that was really just a matter of agreeing with the abundant evidence. It was when things weren't good and when I wasn't in control and it was scary and I was angry and I was sad, that was actually what faith was. It was the moments where there was no proof that things would be good again. And my family and our loved ones and Dave's family, they were there in the moments when we were no longer standing on our own, and they were there to really pick us up, and that was hugely important.
This happened when your dad was running for president.
Yeah, and so you know, I called my parents in the middle of the night from the Fargo ICU. We had made this emergency medical landing, and we didn't know if Dave would survive at that point, so both of our parents got on the first flights out there to say goodbye or to just be there no matter what happened. And my dad was supposed to be in New Hampshire, so he had to cancel, and he had to give some sort of reason as to why he was suspending.
I remember.
Yeah, so then all of a sudden it became sort of a larger story. But, you know, his rivals on the trail were reaching out, and President Bush sent us a beautiful handwritten letter, and we felt like we had prayers from around the world.
Yeah, well, you did, and they worked. He has also a brain that was allowed to regenerate, which not everyone has. So that's a miracle in and of itself that has allowed you guys to be where you are today. So we thank you so much, and congratulations on the book. And I know it's just the most recent of many books to come.
Thank you.